Hello? Oh, yeah, hello. Yep. Oh, and you'd like to send me a trail camera to test? Okay, right. Have you seen the video I put out recently with Ian Aberdeen? Yeah, with the Pine Martins. Yeah, you've seen that, okay? And you know that was all shot. The footage was all on a trail camera. Yeah. And you'd still like to send me one, right? Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes, I'm quite happy to test that out for you. Just you send it along, and I'll get on to doing that for you. Okay. Lovely. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Trail cameras come in all different shapes and sizes and at different prices. Now K&F Concept themselves, if you look at their website, have quite a large range of different trail cameras to suit all different types of applications. So when they recently contacted me and asked me if I'd like to test a trail camera and gave me free rein to choose anything I wanted, there was a camera on there that I particularly wanted to have a look at, and that was the 4G LTE trail camera. Now, I've had that camera now for a couple of weeks and given it some really rigorous testing. It's still being tested as we speak. Is it the best trail camera in the world? Probably not, but I absolutely love it, and in this video I'm going to show you why. So what's in the box? Well, let's take a quick look. And the first thing you'll get when you get into there is the instruction manual. Very brief, but it doesn't need to be complicated for this unit. Most of the stuff is done on the app. You then get 4G card itself, the SIM card, most important for this unit. That's how you're going to do a lot of your communication. The unit itself is made of really tough plastic. There's a couple of ports covered by rubber bungs, one on either side, that give you access to things like the 4G card and the SD card if you want to put an SD card in there. And then also you've got the access for the rechargeable batteries which come with the unit. And you've actually got access to those, which is quite unusual. Normally it's an integral part of the unit. Then you've got the 4G aerial itself that attaches to the side of the unit. That's quite self-explanatory, but comes in the same colours as the unit itself. And then you've also got a solar panel. This is quite a large one, and what I do like about it is that it's got a long cable, so you can put it in various locations away from the unit to get the best use of the sun. The strap that you use to attach the camera to trees and things is quite nice because it has a metal clip which I haven't seen before, and a number of these that I've broken because they're plastic when I've been trying to tighten them up, so that's really nice. You've also got another fix in here to attach the unit to a tree, so you can screw that into the wood and attach that like that. And then this is the attachment for the solar panel, so enabling you to angle it at different angles to catch the sun. You've also got a USB cable for when you need to charge the rechargeable batteries in the unit. And funnily enough, a pair of tweezers, and you don't really realise what they're for until you try to get the cards and things out of the unit, so quite useful. And then the little spike here is again for resetting the unit and things like that. And that's basically everything that comes with it. So this unit has a pretty standard specification for units of this type. It'll shoot 4 megapixel still images and shoots 2.7K HD video. The unit itself triggers when wildlife comes in front of it in 0.2 of a second, which is pretty good. The detection range is 15 meters or 50 feet and at an angle of 90 degrees. The unit itself is also IP66 waterproof and can operate in temperatures from -10 degrees centigrade up to 50 degrees centigrade. It uses SD cards up to 256 gigabytes, giving you loads of room to record all those images and film. But the most important part of this unit is the 4G LTE cellular network. What that means in reality is that from the app on your phone you can control this camera from anywhere. You can change the settings, you can actually drop in and look and see what the camera is seeing live over the 4G network. Right, so let's take a quick look at the app. So you've downloaded it to your phone and it'll appear as this icon here. So once you click on that icon, what we'll need to do is, if we click on the device, that's basically the last image that I took a picture of. It's just showing what my camera is seeing, the view. It's not a live image because that's not counting down. So I'm not actually on a 4G call there. If I go into cloud video, then what that is, it's all the images that the camera has taken. So if I go back to the third, every time the camera has been tripped by something, it will send me an image, and this is a list of the images. So as you can see, activity detected, it sends me a photo, and I can quickly look and see what has activated it and the time it happened. Really, really useful information. If you go into the album, this basically is just images that I've taken. Normally when the camera's been activated, I'll have a look and see what's activated it, but you know, I can just take images if I want. And yeah, just really, on that one there, there's actually a fox on top of a post, believe it or not, eating my pheasant. So yeah, there's loads of sort of useful stuff you can do in the album section. You can record your own stuff live if you like. In the me section, a lot of this is common settings and your notification settings. So how do you want to be notified? You can set all that up in there. There's frequently asked questions, and there's an application wizard as well. Going back to the device, if I click on this photo here, what you're basically doing then is making a telephone call to the device. And we'll come on to that later when we talk about that a little bit later on. But so this is now linking up. I'm making a call to the device, and you'll see that that's counting now. So I'm on a call to the device. The interesting thing here is this gear icon. If you click on that, what you can do once you go into there, this is where you can make all the changes to the device. Even though the device might be 40, 50 miles away, as long as I've got a signal, I can change all these depending on what I want to do. So I might have changed my mind. I might want to, I want to change the scene mode from normal to night mode, for instance. So you can do that, and it'll basically change it without me actually being there to have to flip a switch or anything. So just change that back to normal mode, and you see it's changed there. Activity detection, you can change that. If there's a lot of traffic through there, you might want it on low or medium, but if it's, you know, not a lot coming through there, you might want it on high. The PIR trigger interval, you can change that. At the minute I've got no delay, but you can have it up to 5 minutes. So if once it's been triggered off, you can say, I don't want you to trigger off again for 10 seconds, etc. The record duration, and I've got that set at the maximum 30 seconds, but you can have 20 seconds, 10 seconds, or 5 seconds. And the other stuff on here I don't really have anything to do with. The only thing that might be of interest is that you can update the firmware on there if there's a firmware update to the software. So that's basically it. You're doing all that on a live call. Right, so let's take a look at some of the results from this trail camera. Now these first two shots, as you can see where I set the camera up, it was a nice tree that I'd got it attached to, and it was at the sort of convergence of two trails, and unluckily for me they were just capturing as they were coming across. A fox there just marking his territory. This night shot, I mean, whether you can hear the audio on this, you'll hear it a little bit better in a minute, but if you look at there's at least 3 muntjac deer here, and the quality of the video is really good actually for a night vision. You can clearly see what they are. And that audio from this device is pretty good as well actually. Now on this next shot, I was really surprised to see this. I was a little bit disappointed at where it was positioned, but if you can see on the far side of the screen there, we've got a tawny owl, and obviously, as I say, you can tell what the animal is. That's really what you want. You want it to be as clear as an image as possible, and this trail camera is doing a pretty good job, I have to say. So yeah, we've got a tawny owl there, which he's obviously looking down onto the floor. You can see something down there, or he can hear something, should we say. And I was disappointed actually where he was positioned, but if you look at this next clip, he then moves down onto the bole of this tree and spends quite a little bit of time down there as well. So yeah, really impressed with the footage from this camera. It's doing a really good job, and for me what I need it to do is to be able to identify what the animal is, when it's coming and how often it's coming really, just so that it'll enable me to get down there with the big camera and then get some pictures myself. So yeah, really surprised at this tawny owl, but nice to get it on the trail camera. Right, so having reviewed this unit for a couple of weeks now, As I say, really impressed with it, but there are a couple of things that I would change if I had the opportunity. And the first one actually is not to do with this unit itself. It's this. If I just bring this in, this is the solar panel. And I don't know if anybody can immediately see the problem. I haven't actually used the solar panel yet, so I can't sort of review on how much power this puts into the unit. And the reason for that is I didn't want the unit to go missing before I'd finished the review. And actually just the colour of this, you know, when I was setting it up in the woodland, I thought if anybody sees the back of that, they're going to see it for about 100 yards and it's going to draw the wrong sort of attention. So it'd be quite easy to rectify that, you know, if it was in the same livery as the unit itself. It's going to be virtually invisible. It's not going to attract unwanted attention and yeah, cause the unit to go missing. You know, I can rectify that myself by just camouflaging this and spending a little bit more time setting it up so that this back isn't visible particularly, or the wire. But yeah, if it was just in the same livery as the unit itself, that would be so much better. And the second point, I think I can use an analogy really. If I was in a cafe talking to you, would I pick up my phone and phone you if you were sat right next to me to have a conversation? Well, no, I wouldn't. And it sometimes does feel a little bit like that with this unit. With this unit, as far as I can tell, the only way to change the settings is to ring the unit up over 4G. Now, for some people that might not be too much of a problem, but for myself, you know, that incurs a cost every time you phone it up. You don't, you know, if you're using a 4G network, you have to pay for that. And the card in here, you know, you can put additional funds on it, that's not a problem. But it just seems a little bit strange that if this is sat in my desk in the office and I want to sort all the settings before I go, I've literally got to phone it through the app on my phone to make any changes to the settings. For me, it would be very advantageous if this had a Wi-Fi network in it. I know K&F Concept do a unit that has got a Wi-Fi system in it. If this had that in it, then obviously that takes away that. It means that if I'm sat at the desk here, I can literally just use the Wi-Fi network, which has no additional cost to change all the settings. If I'm out in the woodland, if I'm stood next to the unit, again, the Wi-Fi will work because it's like a local area network, and there's no extra charge for that. The problem I do understand with these things is that any time you start putting extra features into these units, and I suspect this is why lots of companies, K&F included, have a range of these systems and they don't just put all the features into one unit, because if they did that, the price of this unit, if they had the best optics, the best sensors, 4G, Wi-Fi, they stick everything into one unit, the cost of this might be £400 or £500. Now, for me, if this is £400 or £500, it's literally like sticking my Sony a6400 to a tree with a tie wrap for 7 days and leaving it. And I get to the point where that's something I don't want to do. It is bad enough, you know, having this unit out at 100, 150 quid. But if it was that price, you know, I'd absolutely die if it went missing. And yeah, so I wouldn't want to use it in that instance, so I can understand why they do that. But they're really the two things. As I say, I don't know what the cost of putting a Wi-Fi system in one of these would be, along with the 4G, but that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Right, so at the very start of this review, I said to you that I absolutely loved this unit, but I didn't think it was the best unit in the world. And I think I stand by both those statements. And I want to explain my reasoning behind that now. So, as a wildlife photographer, this is a tool to me to get me into a position to get images and footage of wildlife. Now, if you want a trail camera that's going to give you the best, totally best footage and image quality that you can get, then this probably isn't the unit for you. I have to say, K&F Concept do have cameras like that on their website, so head over there. I'll put a link in the description below and you can have a look at them yourself. This is something else, and if I can revert back to my Aberdeen Pine Marten video that I did, On that occasion, I had to make a decision about, I'd only got 7 days up there, so I had to make a decision how long I was going to leave the trail camera there. I decided on 3 days and 3 nights because that unit doesn't tell me anything. It just sits there and records, and then when I go and pick it up, I can have a look over a Wi-Fi what it's recorded. What that meant is I had to leave it there for 3 days and 3 nights before I went and checked. And when I went and checked, I'd got tons and tons of footage on there of pine martens. If I'd had this unit there, it would have meant that all that information was coming to me literally live. So every time something triggered the camera, this would tell me. And I would have known much earlier how much footage I was getting and the times I was getting it. Now what that would have meant is that it would have allowed me to make a decision live. Actually, I don't need to leave it 3 days, I can leave it 2. And I can go down earlier. And you might say, well, yeah, so what? Well, the so what bit for me is that as a wildlife photographer, getting footage from this 26 miles away is a very empty experience. It's not really what I want to do. I want to be physically there. I want to have that wildlife experience with the wildlife at the time. And to do that, I need as much information as I can get, and as sort of live as I can get. And this gives me that, which the other unit doesn't. So in essence, it would have meant that rather than just getting 1 day in a hide, which is what we had, I could have had at least 2, if not 3 days. In the event on that video, we'd never got to see the pine marten live because we only had 1 opportunity in the hide. If I had 3 with this, I'm pretty sure that, you know, the chances would have gone sky high. And I can't say 100% we would have had that wildlife experience, but it would have vastly increased the chances. So this is why, for me, this unit is so special, really. And yeah, if I have to ask myself the question, you know, if I had to do that video again, and it was a case of I can only use one of the trail cameras, either this one or the one I use, which one would I use? It would be this one every time, just simply for the fact that I value the experience much more than the image quality that other camera gave me. And as I say, don't get me wrong, this is not bad image quality, it's pretty good. And as I say, K&F have other cameras on their website that give higher video and image quality than this camera does, but that's not really what I'm after. I can do that with the big camera. I want the experience. I want to be there live, recording it 5 meters away, not 26 miles away. So I hope you see the difference there and why this is such a good camera. Right, I'd just like to finish by saying thank you to K&F Concept for sending me this to test. It really has filled a need in my trail cameras that I'm using, and it's one that I will be using an awful lot in the future, I know. They've also recontacted me to tell me that since they sent me this unit, they've actually won another 4 Red Dot Design Awards for their products. I think that totals 5 now, which is a really prestigious award. The other thing I like about them as well is when they contacted me, they really want feedback on the product from myself, being a photographer who uses these things all the time. So I will feed back on anything that I think might be useful or they might be able to change. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will put links to K&F's website in the description below, and there also is a link for you to get a discount on this particular trail camera as well, included in the link below. So yeah, I shall see you next time for another one. Until then, bye.